considered beautiful among your people?
Well, I would not want to boast. Why?
Oh, I was merely curious.
Hello everyone and welcome to my new project. We are playing Diablo 3.
This place reeks of the dead. The fallen star must be near.
Yes, we have much yet to do.
And as you can see from the top right of the screen, I'm playing on Inferno difficulty. This first episode is going to be mostly information for you guys. Since this is not the first time I played Inferno.
Prophecy sent me in search.
Captain Rumford, more dead are coming. We can't open the gates until we drive them back. They keep coming. I've never seen anyone fight like that before. Guards, open the gates. You'll find Leah at the Slaughtered Calf Inn.
All that means I am fairly confident I can beat this game on Inferno, since
has fallen to disgrace. What faith can save us now? It is the end of the world. Can't you see?
Since I've literally just done it. These are my Diablo drops from Diablo in Inferno mode, so an average, I would say, focus item. I won't keep that because I prefer the survivability. A really crappy wand and fairly mediocre chest armor, and that's terrible as well. What I want to equip is this though. I have the other boots purely for the movement speed increase, since I believe in
good bunch of things for you this fine day.
In the Diablo fight it really helps if you can outrun the guy, basically. With 12% you can't really outrun him, but it's helpful still. Okay, wait. As you can see, got quite a lot of stuff stockpiled already. Yeah, I won't really continue with the main quest just yet because I'm trying to get...
I promised Marco I'd protect him, and now he's dead.
I want to get some of the just general information out to you guys before I continue playing properly. So what we have here is my blacksmith. He is fully leveled up. He does not have very many recipes yet though. I've got some of the, I guess, rare drops recipe things. But mostly not really very many. What I did get is where are they? Shoulders. These argent spaulders of strength, intelligence, and dexterity. These are very, very useful, in fact. As you can see, I'm wearing one of them at the moment. Because basically I get to say that I want intelligence on them for sure, and then I get 5 other possible enchantments, which is good. So yeah, the jeweler is also at maximum level, but I'm not really that keen on combining gems at the moment. Concerning equipment, as you can see, my damage is 34,000, which is not ideal. It could be fairly higher, I guess, but I'm happy with it because also when I enable my my energy armor, I have a damage reduction of almost 60% against enemies of the same level, which will not be 60% in Inferno because enemies in Inferno mode are 61, 62, 63 in terms of their levels. So yeah. Then I've got this very nice mace, which I actually got this on the auction house. Quite a lot of my equipment was from the auction house. I think I paid about 10,000 gold for this, which I consider that a very good deal. Didn't have the emerald in it yet, but still, for a almost 1000 DPS weapon with 45% magic find, I think that's a very good deal. The boots I found myself, I believe. They're mostly for the magic find because I have enough survivability and damage to deal with Inferno now, and magic find is obviously to get better items. Then a nice little survivability and damage offhand. Mostly I like it for the vitality and intelligence. The life per second is not as relevant, because usually in Inferno it doesn't make much of a difference. Then I've got a random ring, nothing special here. Similarly this one, just random, I guess. The pants are actually fairly bad, but I didn't get any better ones yet, and I don't want to buy them at the moment. Quite a nice belt, over 100 intelligence and some magic find, which is good. The chest armor also has magic find. I'm not overly happy about it because the dexterity is kind of useless to me, but meh, I'll take it. Gloves, again, high intelligence bonus, so nice for the damage. I would prefer, again, vitality instead of dexterity, but yeah, dexterity only increases my dodge chance, which to me is less important than a high health pool, as you can see, 56,000. The shoulders, as I said, I crafted those myself. They're not actually that good, considering what you could probably get from that recipe, but I'm still fairly happy with them, so I'll keep them for now. Nice magic find amulet, which is the reason I'm keeping it. Then I've got strong arm bracers. These are again from the auction house, mostly for the intelligence and the life boost. And a very nice helmet as well, which gives me a total of 26% more life, and of course 185 intelligence. And you have to love the number on that Thorns enchantment. Anyway, that's my character, I guess, my equipment. For skills, I'm actually gonna have to change these. For general fighting, I choose the Magic Missile with the Penetrating Blast rune as my primary skill, I guess. I rarely use this, but I like it for the range, and the Penetrating Blast is just useful in case I ever run out of arcane power, which I don't do that often. I'll use Disintegrate with the Intensify rune as my my main damage spell, because it is very strong, and especially with the Intensify it can do quite a lot of damage against multiple mobs, which is useful. I know some people think you have to run a lot more defense in Inferno mode, but you don't really have to. This build works fine. I had trouble in Act 2 slightly, but really this went fairly smoothly all the way through to Diablo. I only died twice against him. And that was using a fairly offensive build. Again, fairly. I used Diamond Skin with the Crystal Shell rune to give me a panic button, I guess, because if I activate that, I get 20,000 points of damage reduction, which, considering my health pool, isn't really that much anymore, but yeah, I'll take it anyway. Mostly because I am not really one for teleporting out or using one of the other defensive skills. I just prefer to be able to brave it. Because this also allows me against, say, champions or elites. I can hit Diamond Skin and then I can stand there and take a bit of a beating for a while, so I can actually get more damage off. Of course, the Hydra. This is the ultimate kiting tool the wizard has in Diablo 3. You can just put this down and run away, and it keeps killing things. And I use the Lightning rune because I believe after they changed it, they patched it, this is the best damage, especially if you're using it for kiting purposes. The Venom Hydra is stronger against enemies that that are standing still, I believe. But it used to also be better against pretty much any other situation, against multiple enemies, moving enemies. It used to be the best choice forever and in every situation, but now it's not, and I prefer Lightning because it deals a lot more weapon damage, so a lot more plain damage, I guess. Yeah. And then Energy Armor, of course. Which improves my armor by 35%. This is very, very useful as a defensive buff, especially on the higher difficulties. I grew to like this. The runes I kind of change. Occasionally, if I'm up against a very hard-hitting boss, such as... I believe I changed this for the first boss in Act 4, because he can hit you for about 80% of your total health in a single hit, and it's almost impossible to dodge or avoid. So Force Armor, that rune limits the maximum amount of damage I can take. I can never take more than 35% of my health in a single hit. Which is of course good
I
if...
imagined that the hero of prophecy would be more lively.
Thank you. Never mind, I'm talking. I will not talk about the storyline too much. Pretty much everyone has seen that. I just want to show a fairly clean Inferno run, hopefully. Yeah, Force Armor to limit the damage against very hard-hitting enemies. Usually, though, I'll go with Energy Tap, because that will increase my arcane power to 140 if I have the Energy Armor activated. And then finally I use the Archon. I don't know. This gives me... and I use the improved Archon rune. Because using this skill now will give me a massive temporary damage boost. At a cost of survivability, because I can't use my defensive skills anymore. Mostly I barely ever use my fourth skill anyway. And I activate this one if I meet a treasure goblin and I think I might have trouble killing him. I just turn this on quickly for a huge damage boost, and then all through Inferno I don't think I missed a single one. Well, every single treasure goblin I saw I killed, so that tactic seems to work out very well. And really there's not much else I really want to put into that slot. I guess Mirror Image is also very defensively, but I don't care that much. And for passive skills I usually use Astral Presence for more arcane power, and especially the regeneration increases, which is very handy, because Disintegrate is actually quite costly. And with that I can keep it going for quite a while. And then Temporal Flux, I grew to quite like this particular passive skill, because as you see, Disintegrate does arcane damage, and with Temporal Flux it slows enemies by 60%. Especially against the very fast-moving foes which you encounter later on, this is very valuable, because they can't get to you. And of course, slow-moving foes move even slower, and against many enemies, even in Act 4 Inferno, you can stand and disintegrate them and they'll be dead before they get to you, which is grand, of course. And finally, I usually use Galvanizing Ward, which increases my my duration of the armor spells by 2 minutes, and it gives me a nice little health regeneration while the armor spell is active. Now, all of these are kind of interchangeable. I don't really use Blur. Decreasing melee damage doesn't seem very useful. Power Hungry I really only used when I first got it, because I didn't have any other options. I don't like it. It doesn't seem necessary, really. I rarely run out. Evocation. You should keep this in mind, because it reduces all cooldowns, which also means reduces cooldown on your defensive skills. So Diamond Skin and the teleport stuff and Mirror Image, all those skills which you can use very defensively, this will make them available more often. If you have difficulty, consider this. Then there's glass cannon, which I don't really enjoy, honestly. I mean, the damage increase is very nice, but I prefer having some survivability at least. Prodigy. Again, my arcane power is usually fine, so I've never really used it. Now, the illusionist skill is actually handy if you use those particular defensive skills, because in boss fights, especially, pretty much every hit is going to be more than 15% of your life. In fact, most normal enemies are going to hit you for more than that. So this will allow you to basically teleport out of sticky situations every single time, because you're going to get hit often. So yeah, this is a fairly nice skill if you actually use mirror image, slow time, or teleport, which I don't, so points for me. Cold-blooded. This is useful if you're using ice attacks. I don't, so who cares? Similarly, conflagration, useful for fire attacks. I don't use those, so who cares? Paralysis would, I think, trigger on my lightning hydra, but I'm okay without it, to be completely honest with you. So never really used it. Critical mass can, if your critical hit rate is high enough, it's a lot stronger than evocation. You have to actually keep hitting things, so evocation will obviously reduce cooldowns by 15% globally, forever, whatever happens. Critical mass, however, will reduce them by 1 second, possibly whenever you hit a critical. Which doesn't sound like that much, really, but it adds up. If you've got enough enemies and you keep hitting them, and there's a few criticals among them, this can really reduce the cooldown on stuff like Diamond Skin or your Archon considerably, so it is something to bear in mind. Arcane Dynamo, I have never really used that. I don't use the signature spells very much, so it doesn't seem important to me. Unstable Anomaly, again, I have never used this. It kind of gives you a life insurance once every 60 seconds, which I guess if you're having extreme trouble with certain bosses, especially the Act 4 ones are very nasty, this could be useful, but again, I usually go without it. So anyway, I think that's enough about my character. Let's go meet Leah. I will skip through this story, mostly. Well, actually, yeah, I will skip through it. If you want to see the story, there's lots of other Let's Plays which have the NPC. Actually, I feel bad doing that. I will talk through random stuff, but I will let the NPCs talk, I think. I feel bad skipping it somehow on video.
Are you Leah? Rumford said you survived the fallen star.
I did, but it blasted my uncle Deckard Cain into the depths of the old cathedral. I tried to search for him, but the dead were already rising. I came back here to rally the militia, but... Watch out! The wounded are turning!
This is killing business.
There we go.
The dead will overwhelm us all, unless something is done.
I will make certain that doesn't happen. Your town is safe.
Thank you. You should speak with Captain Rumford at the gate. He can tell you what to do.
I will also ignore most... Well, I've actually gotten most diaries already, so... I won't ignore them, I just won't find them anymore. Yeah.
15 militiamen went out, only Rumford came back.
In terms of enemy difficulty, in Act 1 I should not have any trouble, really. Act 2 I found actually the most difficult, really, last time I played. It was just this morning, actually. Just finished it on Inferno, so hey. But yeah, Act 2 caused me the most trouble, but then I didn't really upgrade my gear too much since then. I only bought this helmet after I finished Act 2. Again, for about 50,000, so very good deal. You should not disregard the in-game auction house, the one with the in-game gold. I would not recommend ever buying with real money, of course, but the in-game gold, you don't need that much money to find good stuff. I mean, especially now, it's been quite a while since release, so again, prices might change a bit, especially when the console versions might be released. I don't know if they've got an auction house, if they've got the same one I'm very uncertain about that. But yeah, concerning the gold auction house, you can find very good stuff there for fairly low prices. I won't go into the detail of it too much, but on a budget of maybe 500,000, I got this character to Inferno. And since they made Inferno slightly easier or slightly more fair, I guess, in patch 1.6, 1.7, I don't know. Well, it's very playable now for me. Let me just quickly check out my shoulder stuff. What's it look like? This is the best zoom the game really does, which is sad. Well, the shoulders look nice. Yeah, I was gonna talk about something else, but I forgot. So let's keep going.
What can I do to help you fight?
I admire your
Thanks for the warning.
Well, I have...
They're attacking the barricades!
And there I went again, skipping the dialogue, I'm sorry.
There! That's one of the wretched mothers. There are more of them in the ruins down the road.
Okay. But yeah, yeah, I was gonna talk about monster encounters and difficulty. In Act 1,
It is not too late to
I can usually I can just do this. And I will be successful with it, especially with the Hydra dealing off, finishing off single targets very well. Against champions and such, I may have to be a little more careful, and against certain types of champions, there will be a fair amount of kiting involved. Simply because it is completely random what... Well, it's not completely random. I think some combinations have been removed, but it's fairly random what skill set or what set of abilities the enemy champions and elites have. I'm not certain, by the way, if the game makes a difference between champion and elite. I used to call champion the bosses that have the golden bosses that have their minions, and elite I might probably use for the blue glowing groups of stronger enemies. I'm not sure if that's the actual game terminology. Get used to it, that's what I'll use. I also won't explore everything usually. I'll try to get my Valor stacks up to 5 before the boss fights, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, honestly. So, as I said, there might be certain combinations of stats which are not really unfair, but are difficult to deal with. So some of these I might have to kite out. By that I don't mean running away. During the Inferno run I did. I only finished it once on Inferno, so this way I might still get some nice equipment to actually improve the character, which might be interesting to see, probably. But yeah, on the Inferno run I did, I may have died against a few of these champions, once or twice, but I didn't skip any of them knowingly. I mean, some of them I didn't see because I didn't do full exploration anymore. So arguably I didn't kill every single champion that there was. But apparently that one is indestructible. I can destroy so much stuff, but not that.
That should put an end to the attacks, at least for now.
But yeah, as I said, I'm not going to skip any I see. I might have to die a few times, I might have to kite them out and run around the map for a bit, but usually that's not necessary. Occasionally you get some very nasty events where the enemy where you just spawned into a map and there's like a boss group with a very nasty skill set right in front of you. In that case, there might have to be some dying to get them down.
Old Tristram. Diablo himself once walked this place.
There is much to lament in this tragedy.
That happened to me once in my playthrough, which was in Act 3, I believe, when I was going after Asmodan and entering the Heart of Sin, something. Just the final stretch before Asmodan, basically. You see, I entered and I was immediately bum rushed by 4 of those big heavy brute guys as a boss group, and they had like shielding, mortar, firelink, and molten or something, some very nasty combination. They kept body blocking me from the entrance, so I couldn't really run away either. They killed me 4 or 5 times, but in the end I got them down. And this is what this playthrough will be like as well. I'm fairly confident.
Thank you for your help. But could you talk some sense into Leah? She won't give up on the idea of rescuing her uncle.
Nor should she. I will help her find him.
By the way, during the game I might get slightly upset about my character being so arrogant, because there's no need for all those, "Oh, look how good I am," stuff she keeps saying, but
Come, let us search for your uncle.
We'll need to open the cathedral first. The guards locked it up before they were ambushed. Rumford told me they fought their way back to Adria's hut. The key must still be there.
And it is written.
I found no real way to disable it, so tough, I guess. Oh yeah, I can take the waypoint, I keep forgetting. There's no champions or elites on that very first bit, so don't worry, I didn't miss any yet.
Here, let me open the gate. Adria was my mother, but I don't know much about her. She died when I was very young. I was raised by Uncle Deckard.
What about your father?
I'm told he was a great warrior who was lost when Tristram fell to the demons.
Which is arguably true. By the way, I will spoil the storyline. She's gonna turn into Diablo in Act 4. Sorry about that, but yeah. Don't watch an Inferno playthrough if you don't want a spoiler-free game. Watch a blind playthrough for that.
Look! A hidden cellar! Follow me!
I think there was more to your mother than you know.
People said she was a witch, but I never believed it. Captain Dalton!
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. My Enchantress.
Here's the key, and my mother's journal. What I've seen of it is disturbing. I want to know more about her, but that can wait. We need to save Uncle Deckard first.
I will search the cathedral. You stay here and learn what you can.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, Paragon level is currently at 5, so 15% magic and gold find from that. Those 5 levels were entirely from one complete Inferno playthrough, so yeah. I'm not sure how many I'll get this run, probably maybe 3, maybe 2, slightly less of course. And I'm not playing with increased monster difficulty or anything like that. I consider that to be a bit of a pointless addition, which, especially in single player, it makes it too tedious. Because it doesn't really make it more difficult in the sense of more challenging, it just increases the numbers and you have to run more. Which isn't interesting, so I will, yeah, ignore that feature. But aside from that, this is the highest level of difficulty the game has to offer.
Another unlucky villager.
There's a siege here usually. Well, let's just call it a mini ambush. Okay, the Enchantress. I've mostly used her for crowd control. She has Forceful Push, which does some damage, but mostly it knocks enemies away, which is nice. She has Powered Armor, which it's just a nice defensive buff. I guess it's not really crowd control, but I liked it. Erosion. Again, this is not crowd control. I guess Disorient would be more crowd control-like, but I was okay with this. Some slight damage, which is nice. And finally, Mass Control, which is a very nice skill. And whenever you see my enemies turn to chickens, that's what she did. It's mass control, which turns them into chicken for 5 seconds. This firstly makes them unable to perform any attacks or anything like that. They can't cast spells on me, nothing. And it also disables most of their special abilities, like being able to set up walls, being able to blast me with mortar bombs, being able to prison me, pull me towards them, freeze me, all that stuff. Yeah, for 5 seconds they are literally harmless chicken, and I can blast them for all that time. Which is very nice, especially if you're up against strong elite groups. 1 or 2 of them being turned into chicken really takes pressure off. And for equipment, she's just got some random stuff I found. A fairly nice focus. This, again, fairly nice staff, mostly with a very high vitality. As you see, she has 63,000 health. Which is actually more than me. And I have increased my health a bit towards the end of Act 4, so she used to run around with twice as much health as I did. Again, high, some damage rings, a nice vitality amulet, and well, that's about it. Yeah, what being transformed into chicken will not change is on death effects. So an enemy that turns into, I don't know, like the enemies that explode upon their death,
The fallen star is somewhere inside.
or the ones that can turn into the random torso thing after their death. All these enemies will still do that if they're turned into chicken. But now it's been more than half an hour, which is about the limit I set for these videos, so I'll make a slight cut here and we'll see each other again next time. Until then, have fun!